You can't trade because you're insecure. So I don't know you personally, but if you're on this channel and you find yourself not trading to your fullest ability, then what we're about to talk about right now may very well be the key to everything that you want from trading and in life. And so, if I were you, I would watch and see if you want to be free. All right? Like, don't just go over this video and just disregard whether you know me in real life or not. It really does not matter. The stuff that's talked about in this video can very well set you free. So, if you want to actually break out of what you're going through and break out of this cycle that you find yourself in with trading, then stay and watch. All right? I want to start off with my results today. And this is very important for this video. I'm not just showing this to flex. Some of these accounts are still evaluations, like this one, this one, this one, this one. However, I've done something where I like to frame my potential day P&L if I had all these accounts, so I take this as business revenue. So I'll mix in my Apex accounts or my PA accounts with my evals. All right, the point is this. I took 2 trades today. All right, I took a loss and I took a win. And it was a small loss, and the win was about a 1.7 hour win, okay, and resulted in a 3K day across all my accounts. Okay. However, when I saw the P&L and I was looking at it, and by the way, I'm outside right now, so there's going to be a lot of noise. All right. But when I saw the P&L, I wasn't satisfied, and I found myself having the impulse to trade more. Okay. And I thought that I got over this. I thought that I had cleared the level in my trading journey to where like I started feeling like I need to trade more or not being satisfied with green or small losses, but I found myself having that feeling. Now fortunately I have enough experience to just not trade and to just close the charts and understand that that's not the way I should be thinking in order to be profitable long term, so I was able to just close the charts. However, it keyed me to something that I had to focus on for the day. And this is why this video is being filmed, not just for you guys or for you that's watching, but literally for me as well, which is why I had no personal interest in whether you watch or not. However, I would if I were you. All right. You win a trade, but it's not enough. You're break even on the day, but that's not good enough. You want the whole move. You look on Instagram and see everyone is succeeding, but what about you? You want that. You want consistent profitability. So, but ask yourself, why do you want what you want? What is the desire of your desires? The answer or answers to this question or these questions are the key to the door of all the things you've ever wanted in life. Okay, and I mean that quite literally. This goes deeper than just trading. This is your life. Why do you want the things you want in life? And feel free to pause the video and ask yourself these questions when I ask these questions in the video. But we're going to go over this. All right, and this is a very important thing that we are talking about in this video. And this is literally the reason why you can't trade. What makes you want? In other words, what is the main mechanism behind any want? It is the recognition of lack, the recognition or perception of being without. Because you never want what you already have. And additionally, there is no need to want something if you don't believe it will give you the things you are searching for. Okay? So now we're setting down the premise as to why do we want? Anything that you want, anything that you desire in life, there are a couple of prerequisites to something that you want. One of those prerequisites, and the most important one, is the fact that you perceive you don't have it. You are without. And so you want it, right? And then the other prerequisite is that it is something that you think you need or something that you believe you are searching for. Every desire. So you want to be consistently profitable. Why do you want to be consistently profitable? Well, one of the prerequisites to that desire is you recognizing that you are not currently consistently profitable. All right. And then the other prerequisite is that you think that consistent profitability will give you something that you've been searching for. You didn't come into this world wanting to be consistently profitable. You didn't come into this world knowing what the markets even were, or the concept of consistent profitability, or the concept of generating income online on a laptop, however you want it. So obviously, there's something that you think it'll give to you, and that's what you need to ask yourself. You need to start asking yourself these deeper questions. Otherwise, you'll just be in this cycle for the rest of your life, and you only get one life. So let's not waste it doing something like that. All right. Your body, What was I typing? Yeah, I was in a different mode. Your body wants to be in a state of homeostasis, which is another way to say stability and equilibrium. So if you paid attention in biology class at all, you understand what homeostasis is, or really in science, to be honest. Homeostasis just means balance, it's a state of balance. When your body is out of homeostasis or imbalanced, it releases hormones or chemicals to get the body back in a state of balance. All right? But that's enough of the crude biology. So, again, we're just laying down the foundation here, guys. All right? So some of you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with trading? If you think that this doesn't have to do with trading, this means that this video is literally for you. I'm going to be quite honest. If you understand and see where I'm going with this already, then stay and watch anyway. But if you don't, then this video is for you, because if this stuff's going over your head, then profitability is also going to go right over your head with it. I promise. Unless you really sit down and start asking yourself these type of questions. So you need to understand that your brain functions similarly psychologically. All right, so now we were talking about, in biology, we're talking about physical processes that happen in the body, organs, organ system, chemical, hormones, so all physical material things, physical material particles. However, now we're talking about psychologically, right? So it wants psychological homeostasis or balance, and it will do whatever it takes to reach this point, okay? So, and this is how they get you, and that is literally all the notes right now. So here, now we're going to just talk, straight talk, all right? This is where the real gems really come out, okay? So first of all, understand this. Everything you want comes from a state of imbalance. Your brain is always looking or seeking to get in a state of equilibrium or balance. And so if you desire something, the reason you desire that, if you boil it all down every single time, the reason you want what you want is because you think it'll bring you into a state of balance, okay? Imbalance, another way of looking at imbalance psychologically, is insecurity, because security is balance. When someone is secure, they are balanced. They are on a foundation. They will not move when the wind blows or when the rain pours or whatever. They are secure, okay? When something is secure, it is in a state of balance. When you are insecure, you are in a state of psychological imbalance, all right? Now, this is where we need to start thinking about why you are in this state of insecurity, because we're just going to call it what it is, right? Get out of the habit, or get out of the notion that insecurity is like this this psychological state that most people are not in. You need to understand that in a capitalistic society, or in a society where you're working to get money, you believe that money will give you security, which is why you work for it. Now, you may say, oh, well, duh, I need to pay my bills, but you didn't come into this world looking to pay your bills. That was a notion that was set upon you, and then you've experienced things in your life that made you believe this to be truth. However, it's not truth, it's just a belief. There was a time in society where you did not have bills. You did not need money the way that you understand it now. These are all concepts that have shaped your consciousness ever since you were born. And so now, these things that are simply just beliefs you take as truth, right? And I'm not disregarding your experiences, but what I'm telling you is you literally experience things through your beliefs, through your biases. So if you believe that money gives you security, if you believe that becoming consistently profitable will give you security, you are literally telling yourself, your brain psychologically is coming to an understanding that you are insecure without these things. And so you are trading from a state of lack. You are trading from a state of insecurity. Okay? And so, what does someone that feels like they are in lack, what does someone that feels that they are insecure, how do they trade? That's the question you need to start asking yourself now. Obviously, they're not okay with, you know, small green days, because by their perception, it's not enough. Because lack, scarcity is the state of not enough. Think about somebody that's insecure. They literally believe that they are not enough. So, this is what I mean when it may even go deeper than this. You may be insecure. You may feel like you are not enough. You may feel like you're not strong enough, you're not tall enough, you're not pretty enough, or you're not handsome enough, or you don't have enough money, or not enough people know your name, or you don't get enough attention. And all these things are constructed throughout your life, mostly through your, not even your adolescent ages, but your more developmental ages, from like 4 to 7, or like 4 to 11. And all these things are constructed, right? And you're having all these experiences that are just continuously cementing the belief, not the truth, but the belief that you are not enough. And so before long, and so before long, you literally become someone that is just perpetually insecure. The problem is, though, and the thing is, though, you've lived in this state. It's literally what you know, and you've been in this state for so long now that you can't even recognize the signs of insecurity. And then you also have people around you that are also insecure, and so you think that this is just the norm. You don't see it as insecurity. You see it as, oh, I have to work to make money. Oh, I have to, I have to, I don't know, prove myself every time I have a point. I need to argue with people, because if I don't argue with people, then it shows that I don't, actually believe in what I believe. Or I have to dress up real nicely everywhere I go, because I need to be able to shape the perception of others so they don't think that I'm, I don't know, lame or boring or stupid. Like, this can go any way. Really, just look in your life. The point is this: insecurity, usually, I would go as far to say 90% of the time, any type of psychological problem, the foundation is insecurity in some form. Because consistent profitability is a state of security. And I don't mean consistent profitability as far as how metrics go, because even your way of judging, your criteria for consistent profitability from a metric or result standpoint is arbitrary. There's no objective level or objective criteria for consistent profitability. So for you personally, although you may say that, oh, once I reach this point, then I'll know I'm consistently profitable, I'm here to tell you right now that the goalpost will just get pushed as soon as you achieve that goal, if you ever do. Because it's a state. It's a state of mind that you're searching for when you say, I want to be consistently profitable. It's not metrics. I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not. You're not consistently profitable until you reach that state of consistently profitable. And whatever you think you need to see in order to reach that state, the point is you're giving yourself permission to feel that. You're giving yourself permission to call yourself consistently profitable. And you're pushing the goalpost out there. But you don't understand, by doing that, you're also habitually building into yourself the belief that you're not consistently profitable. And that you don't have the thing that you want. And so you're literally working against yourself. And so now, anytime that you have an actual profitable day, you can't even recognize that day as actual profitability, because you're looking for something that will never actually show up in your reality. Because in your reality, because you have this belief that you're inconsistent, and because you have this, I don't know, belief that you're not profitable, you won't even be able to recognize profitability if it were to slap you in the face, because you're not looking for it. You can't recognize it. All you can recognize is inconsistency and unprofitability. And so even when you have a good day, you will judge that good day. Even when someone says that, you're smart, you'll still call yourself stupid, because you have this belief that you're stupid. So you can't even recognize the abundance in your life, because you can't even recognize the abundance in yourself. And your mind is literally what builds up your reality anyway. So if you are insecure, you're going to be insecure about everything in your life. And you'll be perpetually living in this state of insecurity. And so you'll always be looking for things, but you'll never find them. And so you'll never be satisfied with your life, and you'll just end up being depressed, anxious, and sad for the rest of your life, no matter what achievements you actually are able to get in your life, all because everything you're doing is coming from this state of insecurity and lack. And if you're still listening to this point, you know what I'm saying is true. But you don't want to look at it, and you'll numb it. You'll look for ways to cope with this feeling. You'll go to the gym and work out all the time, but you still get this body dysmorphia. Or you'll go and try and make more money with your business or at your job, but it's still never enough. And you'll do this, you'll do that, you'll travel and travel and travel, going to all these different countries, all these different states, but you never find what you're actually looking for. And you never get away from what you're running from, which is that feeling of insecurity. Your only option is to choose a state of abundance. Choose to recognize that you are more than enough. Ruthlessly reject all beliefs that perpetuate the feeling of scarcity and lack in your life. Otherwise, you will continue to just live in that reality for the rest of your life, and you probably will never even get consistently profitable because you'll be rejecting it. You'll be rejecting it. You'll be rejecting it. If you're not in a state of abundance, you're in a state of lack. There is no in between. There is no in between. There is no in between. There is no fence sitter. If you're not in a state of abundance, if you don't perpetually feel like you have more than enough in life, more than enough money, more than enough attention, more than enough friends, more than enough love, more than enough energy, more than enough. If you're not perpetually living in this type of reality, then it means that your beliefs are constructed in a way where it's building a reality of lack and scarcity. And so you're always looking for more, in a negative sense. Life, the imperative of life in nature is to grow. Things just grow. It's in and out, expansion, and reality works in that same way. By rhythm, it's just growth. Life's imperative is to grow. And by growth, yes, growth means more, but even there is no end state. It goes on for infinity. And so if you're not satisfied now, you'll never be satisfied because there is no end. It's just the infinite game. Money is the infinite game. God is the infinite game. If you say that, oh, I want to know God more and more and more, it'll go on forever. But that's usually an example of the infinite game gone right. But in any sense, you need to understand that if you're looking for security in things outside of you, you will never find it because there is no there's no objective or level or no objective phase where then you'll be like, this is enough. Because the conclusion of having more than enough is a state of mind. It's a belief. It's not an actual environment. But it's the belief that then creates the environment, and then the environment that reinforces the belief. And then before long, you have the success loop. You have like this perpetual loop or cycle, or it's feeding off of each other, your mind and reality, because reality is nothing more than your mind anyway. There is no objective meaning in life. It's only the meanings that you attribute to life. So if you feel like you're not enough, you need to first of all look back in your life. There's many ways to do this, right? One of the ways is look back in your life and map the experiences that you've had in life, specifically the more emotional ones, because those are usually where these beliefs, usually the strongest ones, are created. So that way you can have a more objective view as to what happened, and then look at that experience for what it is. Because understand this, no experience is actually negative or actually positive. It's the meaning that you attribute to it. It's the meaning you attribute to it. And in any sense, even if you don't believe me, it's within your best interest to change the meaning anyway, because you need to understand those experiences are what's shaping how you view your life today. So you need to be proactive in this. It's not hard to do. It's just that most people don't do it because most people don't even come to the awareness that this is what's happening. But if you do this, I promise you, and you're actually, proactive about this and you take this seriously, you will change your life. You will change your reality. Trading success will come easily. It's not because you won't feel like it's adding something to you. It'll just be the natural result of the state that you're in. Trading will just become, or the markets will just become the universal bank account from which you are deriving the state that you bring to the market every single day over time. So if I'm in a state of abundance consistently every time I enter the markets or get into the markets or you know in contact with the markets, I will get out abundance long term. That is my belief and that has been my reality. Couple of payouts later. That's every single time. I'm telling you the truth. But if you don't want to believe me, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't change my life. But I'm only putting this out here because the truth is like they're I don't want to get all conspiracy theory, but I'll tell you this. There are people and there are entities and there are things that it is within their best interest for you to be insecure. There are many things that profit from your insecurity. And insecurity is being perpetuated in society purposely. It's in your marketing, it's in your music, it's in your food, it's in all these things. And so that's why I'm posting this video, because we need to start creating a new reality. We need to start creating a new world where we don't do things out of insecurity, but we do things out of security. We grow out of security because growth and learning is the natural imperative of life. And that is what this world is supposed to be. And that's why I'm making this video. So, with that being said, that's the end of it. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Link down below if you want to get one-on-one coaching, but I'm telling you, you don't need it. Just work on this and literally it'll change your life. So, that's it. Thanks for watching.